Hello guys and welcome back to a new for my channel. Today it's time for another episode of ARK Aberration. And today we are of course going to do some more stuff. And what are we going to do? Well, just like in the last episode, blam. To-do list that I want to do this episode. It's quite a bunch, but I don't think it will be too difficult to at least do 4 of these things. But first of all, let me just put some meat onto the campfire because 38 is definitely not going to be enough for the entire episode. There we go. And yeah, alright, so in the last episode we ended off with taming this roll rat and putting some metal and stuff into the forges so that we could make the roll rat saddle. Now I don't know if we have enough for a saddle, but there's only one way to find out, so let's see if we can make the saddle. Okay, that kind of surprises me, but I guess we have 425 metal ingots. But hey, we can make the saddle, which is pretty awesome. It means we can test out the roll rat for a little bit. A level up as well, that's nice. There we go. There we go. Tranquilizer dart. I want to start working on, well, first of all, we need, how is it called? Long neck rifle. There we go. Making this one and the tranquilizer dart. We also have this appetizer tranquilizer dart, which is a mod that I added. It's basically this entire appetizer stuff, which is actually really useful. Basically what this stuff does, we have this appetizer and appetizer X. This appetizer makes it so that when you consume it on a dino, it lowers its food, which it of course also says in its description, which is really useful if we want to tame them, so it just goes a bit faster. This one, yeah, it kind of speaks for itself, I think. It's basically the Trank Dart, which is a better version of the Trank Arrow, but then we have this one, which is kind of just like when you shoot it, it just takes away hunger from the dinosaur that we shoot at. But I don't think this one is going to be too useful because of course we can just make this one and shoot with the normal darts. These are not actually that expensive. But anyway, that's enough chattering about that mod. I want to try out this fella here because, well, we couldn't in the last episode because of the metal that was still being forged, but now it is finally time to test it out. He is very slow, but we can do this. Just look at this. Okay, wait a minute. There we go. 600 wood from one tree, and he can also collect berries and mushrooms much more efficiently. Ah, yeah, that is so nice. Okay, so we definitely need to level movement speed because he is so slow. But look at that. Oh my. Okay. You can just go through stone like it's nothing. Also, its turning radius is absolutely diabolical. I mean, just look at this. Yeah, that kind of speaks for itself, I think. But, I mean, just look at the wood, man. And the berries, of course, and mushrooms. Alright, I definitely think this is enough for now. We also have 1600 rare mushrooms. Yeah, rare mushrooms are never going to be an issue in this map because you get rare mushrooms from basically anything. That was a very, very successful tame from the last episode, of course. But anyway, it took us quite a while because we were just so fucking unlucky with the levels from the dinos. I did take a look at my server settings, and yeah, turned out my settings were just lower than you can set them at. I don't know how it really works, but anyway, I figured it out, and we should hopefully get a little bit higher level dinosaurs spawning. Well, of course, we can try and figure that out in this episode because let me just take a look at the to-do board. Alright, so what is on the board? Of course, tame a better Ravager. We tried to do that in the last episode, but due to the levels, it just didn't work out. Tame a better roll rat. I also want to tame an Ankylo because, of course, an Ankylo is really good for gathering metal, and yeah, it's just really useful to have one, so yeah, why not? I also want to start working on electricity. Currently, we have, well, most of the essentials in our base, like these forges, the smithy, mortar and pestles, but of course we also need stuff like a refrigerator, a fabricator, so we can craft more advanced items like shotguns, the hazard suit, which we took a look at in the last episode, and more. So, for that, we need electricity. And how do you get electricity? Well, you get it from electrical generators. This one is really easy to make because, of course, we killed a bunch of tech creatures in the last couple of episodes. We can't make it here. What? Do we need the crafting station? There we go. But as I just said, we killed a bunch of those tech creatures in the last episode, which means that we have a bunch of electronics already. Yeah, 734, that is so much. And of course, we have more than enough metal, I think. Oh, we don't have a lot. But that's why I want to Ankilo, to gather more metal efficiently. And I also want to take a look at more metal spots in this episode, or the next one. Because right now, all we have is like one rock over here or something. Yeah, this one. This is really convenient to have, like a metal rock or rocks close to your base. But it's just not going to be enough. Not even close to enough. In the future. So I definitely want to take a look at finding more metal in this or the next episode. I do know like a really good place for that. Well, multiple. One is in the blue zone, because in the blue zone there's a bunch of rocks with like veins in them, like blue veins, and those have metal, I think. We can also gather metal in like a special zone or area in this map, which I'm not gonna talk about yet, but it is definitely something interesting we'll take a look at in one of the future episodes. But for now, let me just put on some wood. So we'll go with 400 and 200 in there. Very nice. But yeah, let me just return to the electricity stuff. So of course I have this generator. I'm gonna place it right in the center of our base, which is actually going to be here, because what I also want to do is expand our base yet again, because right now we have a 5x5 base, but I eventually want a 7x7 base, because otherwise a 5x5 is just not going to cut it. But the problem was we couldn't place any foundations here for some reason, or here, I don't know where it was. So we are going to have to expand mostly in this direction and that direction over there. But that is fine. So let me actually quickly see. Let me just make 5 for now, because I want to see if we can expand it in this way. Because I think in the last episode... Oh, we can. Okay, so it was just here that we couldn't place one. Okay, that is nice. There we go. I also see a tech parasaur over there. So let me just go ahead and take care of that boy, because we can always use more electronics and stuff. You know, one thing I really don't like about Aberration is how quickly you dehydrate, because I just drank like what, 10 minutes ago or something on the recording, and I already had to drink yet again, and now my water jar is fucking empty. But yeah, whatever, it doesn't really matter too much. Later I will definitely make a better water container, because this water jar is both really heavy and can only store 2 sips of water basically. But I know of a container which is called the canteen that you can store 3 in, and is less heavy than a water jar. So we're definitely gonna take care of that soon, but for now just focus on one thing at a time, which is the electricity. So how do we give power to this generator? Well, it needs gasoline. How do we make or gather or obtain gasoline? Well, you need to make it in a forge by melting, forging, whatever, hide and oil. Hide is basically just killing creatures and gathering hide, no problem. But how do we get oil? Because you might have watched my Ragnarok and Scorched Earth series, and remember that you have oil veins on those maps, which you can place an oil pump on. The problem though is that Aberration doesn't have oil veins. So how do we get oil? Well, you might have paid attention to the screen while I was killing those tech creatures, because, ta-da, we get oil from them. And we already have quite a bunch of oil, which is quite nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start making some gasoline. We need 6 of oil and 5 hide. Hide is never really going to be an issue. Oil could potentially be an issue. One way to also get oil is by killing trilobites, which you might have seen are those creatures shaped like some sort of a, how are they called? Like centipede or something in the water with two horns. You might have seen them already. Like, I don't know if I can yeah, literally over there. Those are trilobites. I think they drop oil. Let me actually just test it because I'm curious. If I remember correctly, they do. And they also drop silica pearls. Yeah, there we go. We also gained oil. That's nice. Silica pearls are essential when crafting stuff like electronics. I think you can also make like night vision goggles with them or something. Never really gonna use those, but it's pretty cool to have, I guess. But we are mostly gonna kill trilobites for the oil and the chitin, because chitin is definitely gonna be a very useful resource when crafting so much stuff like cementing paste. Anyways, let me just go ahead and make some gasoline. Let's go ahead and 50 in here and 50 in there. I don't know if it pulls from this one. No, it doesn't. Okay, so 100 gasoline is in the making. I think it makes per 5, so we actually get 500 as a result. I don't remember correctly, but I think we do. Yeah, we get 5. Okay, so now the next step. There's a lot of steps to this electricity stuff. We can turn on the generator, but of course we need to have some actual electronical devices. So that is why I want to take a look at the fabricator, which we already learned, and the refrigerator. There we go. For the refrigerator, we're going to need crystals, electronics. Polymer is the only potential problem. I don't think I have any polymer. No. And I don't have enough metal, but that is fine. We're working on that. So, how do we make polymer? Well, we can make it in the mortar and pestle, I think. Or was it the fabricator? I think it was the fabricator. So, how do we make a fabricator? Wow, we need 20 cementing paste, crystal, metal, oil, and spark powder. I think we only need, yeah, cementing paste and spark powder. So, let's go ahead and make 20 cementing paste, and spark powder makes per 2, so we need to make 25 spark powder times 2 is 50. And then we have enough to make the fabricator. Yay. But how do we power those structures then? Because, of course, we can just turn this on, but that won't do anything because we don't have any cables. Ta-da, cables. So, learn all of these. There we go. And we also need an outlet, of course. There we go. This is very complicated, but trust me, this is definitely worth it because, of course, we need it. So, let me just make 5 cables, which we only need metal for, really easy. Of course, let's also make some outlets. I think we'll go ahead and make 2 of those. So, we're going to need, we're going to need to make an electrical network, which basically is what this entire stuff is leading to. So, let's go ahead and get started. Let's place this here, and I think we'll put the fabricator over here. So I think, yeah, okay. I don't know if this is immediately going to work, but we'll have to test that in just a second. First of all, though, can we make the fabricator? There we go. We don't need that much metal, surprisingly, only 35. But it has been made, and we can't place it because it is pretty big. Okay, so let me just move this crafting station to next to the forges. That's fine. There we go. All right, now we have room to place the fabricator. There we go. Nice. All right, unpowered. Now, if we turn on this generator, it is powered. Very nice. And we can turn it on and start making pretty cool stuff, like the polymer. So we need cementing paste and obsidian for this, which we don't have. We have a little bit of obsidian, 14, yeah. That is definitely not going to be enough. So let me just turn off this. Obsidian, we gathered some from like the earthquakes that were happening pretty often, which is a little bit annoying, but also pretty good for collecting those resources like crystal, gems, obsidian, and stuff. And we also need cementing paste, which is not really going to be a problem. But we also have a different way of getting polymer, and this is not this type of polymer, but it's called organic polymer. Organic polymer basically comes from creatures, from killing creatures. What is this? Whoa. Don't let that go to waste. Holy shit. But which creatures do drop organic polymer? Well, for one, it's the Carcinos, which, if you remember correctly, are the giant crabs. But yeah, how do we kill those? Well, just by attacking them. But that is definitely not going to be a smart idea for now, because basically all we have is a roll rat and a ravager that can fight. And the thing is with Carcinos, well, not only are they huge and really tanky, but they can, with those, like, how are they called? Scissors or something? I actually don't know how they're called. Claws, whatever. They can literally just grab you from your tame that you're riding, which yeah, at that point you're basically dead. So yeah, we could kill off some Carcinos, but I don't think we're gonna succeed at that before we have at least like a better fighting dinosaur. But hey, that is where we get to point 6. Prepare for a Megalosaurus. We saw one of those in the last episode. Basically, they're OP and they're really, really useful in this map. So, how do we tame one of those? Well, basically the same way that we tame a Ravager, just by knocking him out and then feed him. But of course, we're definitely going to need a taming pen for them, because they're quite dangerous, let me tell you that. But I'm going to get to that later. What I also want to work on is climbing picks. But I think we can actually already make them, at least one of them. Yeah, there we go. And I'll actually just quickly demonstrate them as well, because why not? These are really, really cool. What we can do with these, let me just quickly demonstrate it. Look at that. We can climb up walls and stuff. Pretty sick. Yeah, this is definitely going to be useful in the future, because, like I said in the last episode, Aberration is a very height-centric map. So yeah, okay, that was a little bit scary. But the thing with these climbing picks is, as you can see on the bottom, they are insanely indurable. Do you call it that? They are basically almost already broken. So yeah, we either need to get some better climbing picks, which is via blueprints, which we can get from supply drops, or use them more sparingly. This was literally just a demonstration. I literally just like did it for half a minute and they're almost broken. So that's a little bit, yeah, not good. But let me just finish expanding our base a little bit. So we need 12 more foundations, if I'm correct. There we go. That's in the make. In the meantime, we can go ahead and start preparing for taming some of these stuff. These creatures, so an Ankylo and a Ravager. But I don't think we really need to do that, because all we need is the taming pen. We need trank, arrows, crossbow and stuff, and of course food like meat. For Ankylo you need berries to tame them, but yeah, we have like a million berries. Alright, but let's just start placing these foundations. There we go. We expanded our base. Well, of course we need to move these walls. Alright, just like that. The walls have been moved. So, we need 3 more here. And 3 more here. And then we also need more ceilings. Alright, and there we go. We have successfully expanded our base. So, let's just start moving all of our stuff back. Alright, and one thing we have to move is this preserving bin, but I think we're actually just gonna replace it with a refrigerator. So I think it is fine to just let it stay there until we have a refrigerator. But yeah, that is it for the base expansion. So now we have the generator nice in the center, and okay, very cool. So that is basically point 4 done, well, except for the garden, which by that I basically mean just create a little barricade around our base. Pretty much just block off this little bit here, this bit here, like that. And then place like some gates over there. So we basically have like a large platform we could put our dinos at and just put them outside, and then they won't get killed by random creatures outside when we log off. But for now, I'm just gonna keep them inside because I have more than enough room. So yeah, I think now it is time to look for a better Ravager or an Ankylo. So what I'm gonna do is take these berries like that, and I'm also gonna bring some more berries and some meat for the Ravager. So now I'm prepared for both a potentially better Ravager and an Ankylo. We have more than enough trank arrows. I could start taking a look at like that long neck rifle. Do we have enough? We do, but of course then we need darts, and for that we need simple rifle ammo, which is definitely gonna... Oh, and gunpowder, of course. How do we make gunpowder? We need to make it here in the mortar and pestle, and we need charcoal and spark powder. Let me start making some more spark powder, and yeah, in the meantime we'll just go ahead and look for either a better Ravager or a Ankylo. Oh, and while I'm here as well, let me just check up on our gas collector. Oh god, of course there's raptors here, of course. No big deal. Just use Ebola on those bitches. Fuck them. And why does it happen? Oh my god, of course there's a fucking another one. Oh my god, help. Really? Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Why did that bola not hit? Are you fucking kidding me? What is this bullshit? And I still did not place a bed. Oh man, this sucks. Well, oh man. What the hell am I gonna do now? This is the biggest bullshit I've ever seen. Okay, I think I do know the way back to our base, because we spawned pretty much just next to the blue zone. Yeah, it's pretty much that way. Man, I really don't hope our Ravager is dead though. But like, what was that bullshit? We had just 2 raptors. Okay, fine. And then like a third one came out of nowhere, basically. And I tried bowling it. Didn't work for some stupid reason. Alright. I think I'm safe right now. I don't see any raptors here, so that's good. What I do see is this loot crate. Green gems, don't care. Alright, first of all though, before I go back there, let me just make a bed so that I can respawn. And what I'm also going to do is just make a bola so that I can at least stun those raptors for a bit. And maybe make like a pike. Is that a good idea? I think it is. A pike is basically like, so you can prick them in their face. Those fucking raptors. I swear, raptors are literally the worst creature in the game. Can I already make a bed? Bed. Simple bed. Fine. Make a bed. And I have to be a little bit fast because my stuff can despawn. Make a pike. Just place it down so that it can respawn. And pike. Okay. There we go. And a bola. Alright. I don't see the raptors anymore. Oh, there they are. Those fucking cunts. Alright. Got my stuff back. And thank God my Ravager is still alive. Well. Okay. Fine. Let me just actually just get some revenge on these fucking raptors. They deserve all of the worst. Ah, man. I hate them so much. There we go. No idea where that third one is, but oh well. Took care of 2 at least. Now, what I was here for. Gas collector. Oh my god. 508. That is a bunch. Let me just take it with me because I need to repair some of my stuff. Like my, outfit. Alright, I'm back. There we go. I'll just repair my entire outfit. This is almost broken anyways. Alright, my outfit is repaired. I don't need this and this and this. Don't need the narcotics for now. I definitely will need some more spark powder, so let's just make some more. Let me just repair my axe or hatchet and pick now. finally, let's go ahead and look for a Ravager or Ankilo. Yay! Alright, I see a couple of Ankylos over there. I see a 20 and a 72. 72 is not too bad. I'm definitely going to try and look for a better one. I do see some Ravagers over there. 24, 80, 116. Okay, yeah. Turns out those settings definitely helped a lot. Ooh, Roll Rat. 120. You know, should we just go and tame this Roll Rat? Why not? I mean, level 120. Yeah, let's go ahead and tame that Roll Rat. What the hell? No, my god. Okay, thank you for being stuck, you fucking raptor. Haha. Alright, so I am currently looking for a beehive because, of course, we need... Why are you running? Okay. No! Help! Help! Ravager! Help! Oh my god! Ravager, Jesus. Why does the Ravager barely do anything? My god. Ah, look at that. I see a beehive over there. Is there, by any chance, is there a plant nearby? One of those regenerating plants. I don't see them. But last time, I got away from them really easily, so... Alright. Fine. We do lose a little bit of HP, but it doesn't kill us. Nope. Alright. We have 5 honey. So, time to tame the Roll Rat. Now, where is that Roll Rat? Level 120. There we go. I need you. No dangers here. Nope. Alright. What? Bro. Can you just make a decision? Dive into the ground or not? It's as simple as that. Just don't do it like, yeah. No, never mind. Just either do it or don't. Alright, there we go. And... okay, that's 35%. So we need 2 more... yeah, honey. Alright, there we go. That is the second one. Alright, there we go. And... tamed. Very nice. Alright, let me just put you in a ball. Very nice. So now, it's time to look for an Ankilo. Or we could tame a Ravager. I don't know. Let me just go ahead and look for an Ankilo first. And if we can't find one quickly, then I'll just go ahead and tame that Ravager. Alright, so I do see a bunch more Ravagers there. 64, so like a 50, 52, and a 112, which is a male. And that 116 was a female. Ooh, we could breed those together. And I also saw a Megalosaurus, 108. That's also really good. But for now, I'm just going to go with a Ravager. Okay, so I'm going to be making my pen over here. Alright, so the ramps don't really connect to the ground. I really don't hope that's going to be a problem. Okay. Sort of. Man, why, seriously, why does this not work? It requires nearby foundation support. Do I need to make a door frame then? Or like a pillar or something? Alright, pillar. Let's see if that works. I thought you could just, I thought it was like obscured by ground or something. But, does this work? Oh my god. Thank God. Okay, finally, time to bring the Ravagers over here. Which is quite a distance, but... okay, ooh, come here. Come here. Okay, one has noticed me. Okay, if only one notices me... nope. Nope. Of course not. Oh my god. Of course there has to be a fucking raptor there, of course. Does that work? Nope. Nope. That went super wrong. Okay. No, no, no. Bola. Bola. Oh my god, Jesus. I pressed the wrong button and I accidentally made a fucking fence foundation. Let me just kill this one off. Because, yeah, we've got this one separately, which is good. Alright. You're dead. Now. Okay. That one is not a big deal. He doesn't have much health. Alright, where are those other Ravagers? Are they still down there? I think so. 24. Yeah, okay. Alright, so that is the 24. What if I try and bowl out that one? And, okay, get the fuck out of here. I need the other one. Is he coming after me? What? Why are you stuck? Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. This game, man. Anyway, he is, following us. But we have to be a little bit less quick. Whee! Come here. No! Oh my god. Fuck you, man. You're smarter than I thought. Does that work? Yes. Nice. Okay. Now, just hope that the other one is not coming after me anymore. Alright, he's gone off, like, over there or something. Okay, fine. Alright, time to, yeah, knock this one out. It is gonna take a little while because he has a bunch of torpor. But I have, like, 100 arrows. Should be fine. So, yeah. I'll see you when this is done. Oh my god. You seriously attacked the Stego. Oh my god. Now I have to take care of him. Of course. Thank you, Ravager. Whoa. What the hell are you doing? What the fuck? Oh, fuck you, Stego. Seriously, in the second episode, it was like a fucking Spino that ruined it. Now it's a fucking Stego that gets in the fucking way. Alright, there we go. Oh, I just realized I brought my normal meat instead of mutton. Oh well, doesn't really matter too much. Hey, would you look at that? Ravager, level 173. So you're basically double the levels that this one is. Almost. Impressive, my dude. Impressive. Or, not dude, but like a female word for dude. Anyway, yeah. We tamed 2 dinos already. I think we're going to spare the Ankylo for the next episode. Alright, we're back at our base. One thing which I also came back here for is our Bulldog. Because I want to explore the blue zone for a little bit in this episode. Just a tiny bit. And, of course, we need our Bulldog in the blue zone because, as we actually saw in the last episode, we came across like one of those nameless, which is one of those monkey things that we saw in the last episode when we went into the blue zone. Those nameless spawned because I didn't bring a light source with me. Do we take this Ravager with us? How much health do you have? 4,000 almost. This one has more already. Give you a little bit more stamina. Alright. How much melee damage do we have? Not that much yet, but that will definitely come with leveling. So, yeah. Let's just go ahead and explore the blue zone for just a little bit. See if we can find some metal. Yeah, maybe potentially a Ankylo as well. And yeah, let's go. Right, in the meantime, I will just go ahead and kill off some creatures with this Ravager because you still need to level, my good friend. Alright. Oh my god, look at this. Shinehorn. Ah, you're so cute. This is basically another light pet like the Bulldog. This is only a level 12 though, so yeah, not gonna tame this one. But hey, look at that. We are, well, almost in the blue zone. I'm just gonna turn on my light already. We'll definitely need to avoid the Megalosauruses though, because those are super dangerous. Whoa, okay, that is a second Ravager. Oh my god, really? Okay, Ebola, there we go. Whoa, Jesus. Okay, just kill you off. Alright, there we go. I do see some Ankylos already. I saw one here. 16, that is not good. But I saw a second one over there. 12, okay, that's even worse. Okay, we're definitely not going to be taming those. But that was not the goal of exploring this zone. I want to find some metal. Let's just go a little bit that direction. Or are these rocks already metal? I think they are, but it's a little bit dangerous out here. I think this is metal. Yes, there we go. So this, apart from one other area, which I want to talk about in one of the next episodes, this is probably the best way to gather metal in this map. Just go into the blue zone, find these rocks with the blue veins in them, like you can see over there, and yeah, just harvest from those. But yeah, I don't need the metal yet, so I'm just gonna go back to our base. That's what I was mainly trying to find, was just the metal. Right, so actually, let me just quickly turn off my bulb dock just to demonstrate one more time what happens when, yeah, it literally already happens. Nameless, there we go. But yeah, I'm not gonna deal with them, so turn on your light and then you'll be fine, probably. All right, home sweet home. There we are. Let me just put you back inside and turn off your light. There we go. You can have more capacity. Very nice. Yeah, that was a nice little episode. Anyway, let me just put this metal in here so it can burn. There we go. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. And we have more gasoline as well. We have so much gasoline already. We have 500 gasoline. Very nice. And okay, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Let me just quickly just sort everything out. And yeah, that was a nice little successful episode. So we did our first point, second point. We yeah, basically did all of the electricity stuff except for make a refrigerator, but we'll get to that hopefully in the next episode. We also made the stone climbing picks, experimented with that a little bit, and yeah, we'll prepare for the Megalosaurus in the next episode as well, and tame an Ankylo in the next one as well. But for now, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and do more of that fancy stuff. And hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.